Good morning, guys. So this is day 2 and going to be part 2 of my pump house build, water filter upgrade and UV system that I'm installing at my house. Just going to roll right into it. If you saw the first part, I'm basically just picking up right where I left off on there. Where we stand now, I have the base built that I'm going to be putting everything on, and it's painted, mostly dry. There's a couple of little spots that are wet, but I'm just going to put it in place. So that's it. Thanks for tuning in and checking it out, and let's get to work. All right, so where we're going to start right now is I'm basically going to start disassembling everything. So the first thing I'm going to do is unplug the pump, because we no longer want that turning on. Shut off this water, which this is going to end up getting replaced. So eventually I'm going to cut this line, and then all that water is going to drain out in here that's in the line. And then of course remove this filter system, get all this stuff out of the way. I'm going to go inside and I'm going to flip the breaker for the water heater. So I did save up a little bit of water, so I have 3 gallons of water, just in case I need it. Let's see, water heater, top one. So water heater's off. It should be off right now anyway because it goes through this timer box. So if you have an electric water heater like I do, this thing is a lifesaver. So basically what happens is it goes on a timer. If I can open it with one hand, it's not that easy. So basically my water heater only turns on for like 2 hours every day. That way I don't have a huge electric bill. I'm hoping. I haven't gotten the first bill yet, but we'll see. All right, I'm back outside. So the next step is going to be to relieve the water pressure. And all I'm going to do for that is go over here to the hose bib and just let the water run out. Okay, that finally stopped. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and start disassembling. If you're doing this for your pressure tank, you don't need to mess with any of this. So the way that these pressure tanks work is there's a bladder inside here, a rubber bladder, right? And this nozzle here, which is, just looks like a Schrader valve or a regular air nozzle, you're filling the bladder that's inside here. So the way that it works, that it gives you pressure, is the pump will pump water into the whole system, and it'll go push against that rubber bladder, and then once it hits a certain level, the pump shuts off. So that rubber bladder pushing on the water is what gives you water pressure. So anyway, I'm going to start disassembling this stuff, disconnecting the water heater. I'm going to drain this too, but I want to try to shimmy it closer to the sidewalk. All right. All right, so everything is removed now. I got my pressure tank over here, the pump there, of course the water heater there. I opened this up when I first took it down. It's still draining, so that's surprising. I didn't figure there was that much water in there, but I guess so. All right, so everything is clear. I'm gonna put the pedestal in place, and then I will start putting everything on top of it. All right, so I got my pedestal in place. I have everything placed on there. My next step, I guess, is I'm gonna have to secure everything down again. I'll put strapping back on the wall for the pressure tank. I'm going to bolt the pump down, and the water heater is already in place and the lines are already hooked up. So that's ready to go. So I will work on getting this stuff done and then I will be back. Okay, so this is where I am right now. I got the platform back in place, got this on, the water heater, the pressure tank. The pump is mounted, the pressure tank is mounted back against the wall how it was. I redid the piping between the pump and the pressure tank, so that's all together now. Switched from the CPVC to the scheduled 40 PVC. And then now we are routing it up to where we mounted the filter system. And this is Kent.
Hello.
A neighbor. He also has a YouTube channel and he's building a really cool container house. I'll put a link down in the description if you guys want to check that out. So we're going to do a little bit more work and then I will film a little bit more after that. All right, so now we're at the point where we have the line coming, the outlet of the pump is going up to the filters. There's a valve in place, there's a valve here. So that'll be to pour water in to prime the pump when it's needed. I also clipped the line going into the house, switched it to the schedule 40, had the 90 on there. So that's gonna come across and then it will meet up here. So the next step that I'm gonna need to do is to put the upright 2x4s, which are going to become the part of where the wall will be mounted. And that's also where the UV filter is going to get mounted vertically, like right here. And then we just got to keep connecting the piping all the way over to there and then back out to the house. All right, we are moving right along. So I have the 4 uprights on that will eventually become the corners of the pump house. That's about a 12 or 13 degree cut. There will be a little roof that'll go on there. And I'm gonna I'll add in crossbars and that kind of stuff in here later on. So we have the UV filter is mounted right here. And we're putting on the copper. So when you do a UV system, you have to use copper here because the UV will actually degrade PVC if you put PVC on there. So you want to use a flexible copper tube. This is actually made for a water heater. And you want to put, a little bit of an S-curve into it so that it's not shining light down the tube. So it'll refract, enough that by the time it gets to PVC, it won't do any damage. And so I went over there, I opened the valve on the water catchment. There's a valve right at the top where the downspout is. That's basically to let air in. So I'm about to cut this line here where the valve is.
You want me to hold the camera while you do that?
If I didn't, sure. If I didn't open that valve though, then it would just continue to suck water out of the catchment tank and it would empty the entire tank. I mean, that would take a while, but pass the camera off. All right, fire hose time.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay, that wasn't too bad. All right. So now this part of the valve I'm actually going to cut off and reuse. So that has my union on it that came off of the front of the pump here. And I wanted to have this valve on the outside of the pump house. So if I need to come out here in a hurry for whatever reason. And check.
Sorry.
Oh, no worries. So like I was saying, I want to have the valve on the outside of the pump house and then That way if I need to access it, if I need to shut it off quickly, I can do that without going inside. So basically I'm just going to add a 90 here. It's going to go back, a 90 down, and then a 90 over. And then we're going to reconnect it to the hose that we just cut, or the line that we just cut. And that'll take care of the incoming water supply. Should be good.
Yeah.
All right. So we are moving right along. So we got this, the 1 3/4 line coming from the catchment tank is all tied in now. We have the first lines we did, which are going up to the filter housing. And then on the other side of the filter housing there, comes out, comes back around, goes to the UV, goes through the UV, down and out, and then over here it goes back to the house. So now we're getting ready to put the filters in and the UV light, and then we will start putting water in. Yay.
Don't touch the tube.
Don't touch the tube.
Don't touch the tube. Your oil off your fingers will make the tube crack.
I feel like I should have put gloves on before this.
No, you're fine. Just don't touch the tube.
Okay.
You're doing lovely.
All right.
Like a glove.
And then I'm just going to plug it in to verify.
Oh yeah, don't look at it.
Pull that out. Put the boot on.
That's the kind of UV that gives you a welding burn.
Sweet. And then I'll tie this up somewhere later on. Oh, I'll just let it hang for now. Okay, so now I have to go and I'm going to start dumping water into the feed tube from the catchment so that we can fill the line till it gets up to the pump. And then we will pour water in here to prime the pump, and then we will turn it on. Hopefully everything goes good.
Now what are you doing?
I'm closing right underneath here. There's a valve that's open. So I'm closing that because that's what will allow the pump to suck the water out like a straw. With this open, it would just be sucking air. So it's closed and we're ready to prime the pump and turn it on. Until you touch it.
Till I touch it. Here,
That's good enough.
get this. Get some fingers. Okay, that.
Well, it's in ultra wide anyway, so that's good enough.
I like it. Let's splash water.
Okay, so
Pour it down the hole. Now we plug the pump in, will it work?
yeah. Well, this is just going to shoot water straight out the top, right? You close the valve.
It will when it's primed. Till then we get both. You ready for some excitement? I am. Get in there. Okay, so this pump is the water right now.
All right, guys. So we are done. The system is done. Everything is hooked up. Everything is pressurized. There's no leaks. Nothing obvious that I can see right now anyway. Actually, I just saw a drip over there, so I'm going to have to on one of the filters, or I think it's on the pressure valve for that last filter. So now everything's working good. So basically all I need to do is just clean up. I got quite a bit of mess, as you can see over here on the ground. And then this is basically going to wrap up. Let me go ahead and flip the camera around. So this is going to wrap up this video, part 2 of this series. And then the last video will be basically building the little hut or the little house, the walls. So you can see I have my 4 uprights. They'll get connected. There's going to be a little roof on there. I'll add in, another 2x4 here, and then there will be hinges, and there will be a door here that opens this like this. So you can see the pressure there. So I got my pressure up here on each of them. You can see the green light on the UV, so the UV is working. This will get mounted, I'll put this up somewhere. It's not going to just hang like that. And then of course, when this whole system or the whole pump house is done, I'll paint it to match the house, and then everything will look good. So that's it. All right, guys. So that's it for this video. It was cool. I'm super glad to have this system in place. Have clean water, clean drinking water from catchment. There's a lot of people here, believe it or not, that they will not drink their catchment water. But I guess they don't know, like with the proper filter system, and especially with the UV, your catchment water is totally drinkable. It's actually will be very good water after it goes through this filter system. But there's still a lot of people here that don't, they don't either know about it or they don't use it, or possibly they can't afford it. The system's not cheap. It was, like just under $400 plus shipping. So, and this company actually sells a kit, a refill kit. So, which you guys might be interested in that. So their refill kit is $99, and it comes with 2 sets of filters. So that's 6 filters and the UV light, and that's for $99. So with this system, with the 4.5 inch by 10 inch filters, they suggest to replace them every 6 months. Of course, that's gonna depend on the water usage and the quality of the water going in, I guess, if there's a lot of junk and whatnot. And then the UV light you need to replace at minimum every year. And then also, I guess the quartz lens in there will need to get replaced once in a while too, because the UV light will actually cause it to get milky looking. That's what Kent was telling me. And also, I want to say, thanks to Kent for coming over, giving me a hand. Like I said, I will put a link to his channel down in the description. He's building a 2-story container house. So Kent and his wife, they had a house before. Actually, it was a container house as well, and they were in Leilani Estates. So when the eruption happened last year, they lost their house. So he's basically building the same house. He's up here now, though. They're in Hawaiian Acres, which is kind of the next community over from where I am in Fern Acres. And he's rebuilding the container house. So it's pretty sweet. I've been over there, quite a few times. But he also uploads videos. He has a channel too. So you guys can check him out if you want. And I'm going to sign off for this video. And I just want to say thank you guys for watching. Thanks for checking in. Please subscribe, like. It really helps out. Right now, my channel is really small, so I'm trying to build that up. I will talk to you guys later. Take care. Aloha.